Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. This is Lori Harris and Lynn Whitesell, managing partners of Harris Whitesell Consulting. And we're just doing a general session podcast today to talk about who we are, what we do, and what that means to you, our clients, and those that we would like to serve. So welcome, everyone. Say good morning or good afternoon, Lynn.
Good afternoon to everyone. Lori, so it was great. You mentioned we're going to talk about what we do. So, what do we do at Harris Whitesell Consulting?
Oh, this is great. Love this statement. Love this question, right? We love talking about who we are and what we do. So, Harris Whitesell Consulting is a certified woman owned small business management firm. We specialize in human resources, talent management services to include things like assessments, coaching, development and training, culture and engagement, change and transition, employee engagement, and customer strategies that relate to the people and the organization. And we help organizations build strong leaders, strong teams, strong cultures, and strong performance. And we maximize excellence. How's that?
That's what we do.
That's exactly what we do. So, Lynn, why don't you tell us about what is talent management and why is it important?
Well, talent management is foundational to most everything, and it's foundational, of course, certainly to what we do at Harris Whitesell Consulting. It's a very, very important business strategy. Simply stated, talent management is an organization's commitment to hire and manage and develop and retain the very most talented and superior employees available in their job market. Involves things like workforce planning and employee engagement and, of course, developing people. So learning and development, looking at their performance and helping manage that. Who do you select for what job? How do you onboard them? How do you retain them? And so having that really well thought out talent management strategy that's aligned with your business strategy, that's key to just about everything else.
I agree. So I'm going to jump in right away and talk about normally what we do first, and that is we diagnose, we evaluate, we do assessments with many of our clients, whether it's coaching or development and training, et cetera. And success begins with that self-knowledge and that self-awareness. Assessments allow people to self-evaluate and to measure their own progress, thus becoming a better partner in the creation of value and growth and opportunity, not just for the organization, but that value towards their team, and of course, again, that organization, which affects the client ultimately and really does attract that client and attract that top talent that you were talking about. So, Lynn, talk about the type of assessments that we offer.
Absolutely. So we make sure that we're accredited, certified, certainly experienced in using a wide variety of assessments because, as Lori mentioned, we like to diagnose before we prescribe, just like a physician would. We don't have a one size fits all. So there are a number of assessments that we are certified and experienced in using. They include things like personality assessments. You may think of DISC or MBTI, behavioral assessments. Predictive Index has a lot of those. We're, of course, certified in that. Cognitive assessments, leadership assessment, leadership effectiveness. How effective are you as a leader? What are your executive skills or your business owner skills look like? Assessments around communication intelligence. And that also measures your resiliency and your ability to communicate well, emotional intelligence and how you are interacting with others and behaving in an emotionally intelligent way. So really helping you understand yourself. How do you enter into conflict and how do you make it productive or do not? Organizational effectiveness. How effective is your organization? Organizational culture. Every company has a culture, whether they've written it down on paper or not. Do you know what yours is? We look at the employee experience, employee engagement, performance of teams. We can assess that. A number of different kinds of 360-degree feedback assessments, and more. But again, just a wide variety so that we can customize our client's experience. So, Lori, one of the things that we use assessments for, often it can lead into coaching. Would you like to talk a little bit about coaching at Harris Whitesell Consulting?
Yeah, this is a great topic because coaching is very popular right now out in the world of work. And we hear a lot about life coaches. We hear a lot about spiritual coaches. There's a lot of coaches that are out there. And most importantly, it's really important that you find not only a certified, but a qualified coach as well. So that coaching that we do is a partnership with our clients in a very thought-provoking and creative process that inspires the client to maximize their personal and professional potential. It's great because it often unlocks that previously untapped source of imagination, that productivity, that leadership, and just that self-worth, that confidence, understanding their strengths, their motivators, their demotivators, and all those other attributes that often, and those competencies that they don't often talk out loud about or even think about throughout the day because they're just doing and they're just being and they're just moving through the grind of each and every day. So this question about coaching is vital when it comes to developing leaders, developing emerging leaders, developing high potentials, developing the C-suite, and even things like board of directors as well. Anybody that is really truly leading or wanting to lead. And so I'm going to switch it over to you, Lynn. I want you to talk about who needs a coach.
Okay. Who doesn't need a coach? My mind immediately goes to, say, sports, athletics. And I think of people like Roger Federer or just think your favorite sports team and your favorite fantastic player. They have coaching every day of their careers. So everyone needs a coach. We all have goals we want to reach. We all have challenges we're striving to overcome. Sometimes we feel stuck. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want to optimize. We're really, really good and we want to be fantastic. So it's, good to great or great to excellent. So partnering with a coach it can change your life. It can set you on a path to greater personal and business fulfillment. So I think just about everyone needs a coach. And so when we're talking about needing a coach and what is coaching, there are multiple types of coaching that, we might want to explore. Laura, you want to talk about a little bit about that, the types of coaching that a person might entertain?
Sure. And these are types of coaching that Harris Whitesell Consulting offers with our services. So we're going to be very specific and stay in our lane. How's that?
Yeah, I think we should stay in our lane.
Yeah, definitely. So executive coaching is for senior leaders that have responsibility for many people. This type of coaching enables them to maximize their own and their organization's performance. So that's executive coaching. Then we have leadership coaching, and leadership coaching is for those high potential individuals, leaders, and emerging executives. Whereas we focus on personal and interpersonal and leadership effectiveness in order to maximize both their own and the team's performance. We also offer career coaching, and that helps individuals determine their personal values, their career objectives and goals, and to establish a career path to achieve them. It may include their LinkedIn profiles, their resume, interview styles, things like that as well. And then we do team coaching, whereas we build teams and we help teams build trust. We help them work through conflict. We help them achieve commitment and embrace accountability. And we also help them realize that path towards those collective results, whereas they're optimizing their talent to execute those strategies and those plans. and able to get those types of collective results that bring in the ROI and the profitability, the competitive advantage, all of those great things that come out of people who are in alignment with those corporate philosophies, corporate strategies, and of course, their goals being they're within aligned as well.
Mhm.
I might as well make fun of myself because I just really blubbed that up. So, Lynn, you know what? Now that we've described the types, we've talked about coaching a little bit of what it is and who we serve. What is the coaching process that we take people through?
Absolutely. So, with the coaching process, the first thing we're going to do is to determine the type of coaching you need. Is it team coaching? Is it executive coaching, leadership coaching? Are you an emerging or high potential leader who's seeking to become an executive? So you're somewhere in the middle. Is it professional coaching, career coaching? Are you looking to make a transition? So is it transition coaching? So we'll have a session with you and really talk about what is it you're trying to achieve. What do you want out of coaching? And so we'll determine the type. And once we determine the type, then we'll have a session that starts before coaching where we'll sit down with you and we'll talk about what the process and procedure looks like. Could be a little bit different for each one, but basically we agree on the timing of the coaching. We agree that we are both going to be committed to it, which means if you engage in coaching and you want us to coach you, you have an obligation to participate fully. That's for your own benefit. And we're going to be an accountability partner with you to help make sure that you are participating fully. Some of the things we'll ask you to do could be experiential activities, a lot of really, I call it examining your belly button, but really, really getting to know yourself. And we'll use assessments to do that, but that's not all we'll use. We may engage you in a stakeholder-centered type of coaching where you involve others, or you may not be engaged in that type of coaching. Again, we'll work on all of that with you. We'll determine your coaching plan that is written out just for you. And then on your second session, we get started with it and we continue the coaching and we'll monitor along the way and follow up. So I guess individualized for each one. And we have coaching programs, which I didn't hit on. We have coaching programs and development programs targeted toward all different kinds of people. But we are women leaders and we are a women-owned small business. So we do have some programming that's designed just specifically for women. Laura, you want to explore that a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have an elite 15-month program and we do customize this, by the way. Sometimes it's not always 15 months, but I'm going to talk about the package program that we offer. It's an in-depth women's leadership development program, and it's called Remarkable Women Leaders. And we partner with organizations to help women discover and learn how to use their unique advantage to advance their careers and excel as leaders. And our program strengthens and deepens the organization's leadership bench, which is very important in these days because right now we know we're still not reaching the type of inclusiveness and diversity that we need when it comes to gender in the leadership realm. So this is exciting news that we're developing women these days, and it's very evident that it's making significant differences. And these women we help them get to look at a 360 view of their leadership behaviors and explore habits that are unique to women and the factors that get in the way of their advancement to senior leadership positions. We have a 4-step model. It's assess, learn, engage, and thrive. And it builds their personal, their business, and strategic leadership skills to bring exceptional value to their teams and their organizations. And quite frankly, we change lives often with this program. So that's pretty much a nutshell of our packaged program, but we have deviated from that and customized that in many ways. We've done workshops, we've done webinars, We've done 2-day immersive. We've done 1-day type of thing as well. So this program can be customized, and it is a very powerful curriculum that we use in order to help these women really, what I call, flip the switch and shift over into maximizing excellence. And so, Lynn, let's talk about, what are the specific programs designed specifically for high potential emerging leaders?
So we do have programs for high potential emerging leaders. One is it's a 6-month program. It's typically offered within an organization that is looking to develop that next level of leaders, those emerging executives. Typically, this program will run 6 months, and we'll meet with them in person for, let's say, a week. And then they will work on special projects as determined by the client that will really cause them to learn leadership skills as well as business skills and their own business. We'll bring them back together at the end for another week where we're looking at leadership and their skills and monitoring that. They'll present out to their executive teams at the end, just as they would a board of directors. This is an award-winning program. It really, really works. So topics covered may be strategic, financial, personal, team leadership, executive leadership, but it really helps these leaders get a look at where they are, where they want to be, the gaps that are there, and we help fill those gaps. And again, even though it's a program for, say, 15 or 20 leaders or even 10 leaders at a time, there's a lot of customization for each individual leader because they're meeting with coaches along the way of the 6-month program. Just as Lori mentioned, though, with that's our flagship program for emerging leaders. And as Lori mentioned, with the women's leadership program, we do customize this program, varying length and levels. We may meet with a group, a cohort, once, 1 day a week for 6 months rather than, a whole week at a time. Anyway, it's a customizable program. It's a very successful program, one we're quite proud of. And we also have programs designed specifically for teams.
We do.
So, yeah, we do.
We do, and they're powerful as well. And we see a lot of great results again, whereas we're able to see individuals optimize their own talent and get back to executing that strategy and getting those collective results. And they're wrapped around programs that we are partners with, we're certified partners with, and also certified as facilitators for training these. But one is the 5 behaviors of cohesive teams, based on the book of the 5 dysfunctional behaviors by Patrick Lencioni. And then, of course, Forte communication intelligence team building programs. And they're designed to help people truly build those cohesive, effective, and high performing teams that deliver results. Mm-hmm. So we will work closely with the organization to clearly understand what are those key objectives that you're seeking with your team, and really build in and customize this program to help those leaders and those team members to work from a vulnerable state, which vulnerability is not weakness. Let's say that again. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is truth. Vulnerability is really putting the information that we need from all of the inclusive minds, the inclusive and diverse perspectives that we have from each and every team member, and bringing that to the table so that we have those things like commitment. Because once we have commitment, we then can have those productive dialogues and those conflicts that we can have that create the energy and the explosiveness that we need. And I'm using that word explosiveness intentionally here because we're not talking about fighting. We're talking about truly putting ideas and thoughts on the table, whereas there might be disagreements, and being able to honestly, with this group, define what is the best approach so that we can achieve and execute based on talent optimization and getting to that next level of accountability and those results. And that process is not because we all define that and that's in a model. That process is one of the most organic processes of the development of people in a cohort, and that norming, storming, forming, all of that developing comes true when we start with trust. So I wanted to put that out there because it's a powerful model, but it also is something that is very authentic. And when we have authentic people at the table who are organically applying their talent, we get results. And that's why we're so in tune with this and we're passionate about this, because it works and it works well.
It surely does. And, we get the question sometimes, do we work with organizations to develop people? Mm-hmm. We work with people as individuals outside of their organizations. Certainly we do that. We also do a lot of work with organizations to develop people. So it may be individuals, it may be teams, it may be emerging leaders, high potentials, it could be executives, it could be people who really have a lot of high potential, but some destructive behaviors that they really need to focus on, or some blind spots, which they really don't recognize that are there. We need to help bring those to light and help them realize what those are and where the development opportunity is with that. Basically, we work with HR as well, but we work to help individuals, teams, people, organizations, business leaders, business owners. I'm trying to think of the different various kinds of customers and clients we have: small, mid, huge, large organizations, local and global organizations, to really help them maximize excellence. You'll hear us talk about that tagline. We came about that tagline because we realized we've been around now for since February 19th, 1919. And over that time, we've honed in that maximize excellence. That's what we do. That's what we're all striving to do, not just Harris Whitesell Consulting, but our clients are all striving to maximize excellence. And organizational development is a big piece of maximizing excellence as well.
So, our O&D programming focuses on alignment, and we start and look at that alignment of corporate philosophies such as mission, vision, values, guiding principles. We look at the matrix of employees, those job descriptions, the employee manuals. I mean, there's a lot of good, deep work that can happen in that level. But what's important is that as we align organizations and we really focus on that, there's that rapid engagement and that intensive type of change and for the complexity of the environment. And through learning, through knowledge management and transformation of organizational norms and values and those organizational strategies, again, through those alignments, how the organization identifies problems and plans of action, how they negotiate change, how they evaluate progress, all of that inclusive of organizational development. One of the things, Lynn, that I think about with this is within that O&D, we really see a lot of good culture work. And we do see in O&D, the organizations really rally around themselves. Their brand equity seems to increase. The engagement of employees is a different approach, and they really begin to infuse language that's meaningful and purposeful. Whereas again, this alignment, not just the theory of, but the actual behavior of people aligning to that organization and creating that impact that they're seeking towards their mission, towards their vision, towards their values. The demonstration of values, I believe, and I think we believe, if I may speak for both of us, is enormous when it comes to success. And these individual people make up that organization. And people are the most valuable asset when it comes to organization success. So I believe in this. I studied this. I've got both my MBA and my undergrad in this. It is very, very powerful. Lynn and I have been doing this for numerous years. And we brought all that to the table. So this is foundational. in a lot of the work we do. So Lynn, talk about the impact of organizational culture and why we have chosen to make that one of our services that we offer.
Absolutely. So, Lori, you're talking about organizational effectiveness and development previously. All of that, everything that's the very success of a company is founded on culture. You've probably heard the expression that culture eats strategy for lunch. We know we want a talent strategy that optimizes talent and aligns that talent with the business strategy. And we know that business strategy has to be aligned to the culture, with the culture being those deep rooted norms and values and behaviors and that all the members share. Really simply what culture is it's how work gets done when nobody's looking. Think about that, how work gets done when nobody's looking. And leaders have to be quite intentional about culture. Every company has a culture, whether they've written it down and defined it and taken control of it and informed it and set it themselves, or whether it just happened. The most successful companies are very intentional about what type of culture they need to set the companies up for success, not only right now, but in the future. And this is why doing a culture audit or a culture assessment or looking at where you are, is your culture constructive or is it not? There are various different types of cultures, destructive and constructive are two of them. If it's not, where does that position you now? Where does that position you for the future? So culture is the foundation of everything else, including talent management, which is why Lori and I do have that as a component of our services. And we take that, we enjoy that work. And there's a primary assessment we use there that, wow, Zowza, what an assessment. And the accreditation for that was pretty tough to get, but we got it, both of us and other members. So that's what culture is. That's why we care. That's why we utilize and focus on culture as well. So within the company, within culture, you have all these people who are led by leaders, whether those leaders are in positions of power, or whether those leaders are in positions of influence. But we want to make sure that we're reviewing the talent in our company, the leadership talent, that we're looking to make sure we have great succession in play as well.
So I'm going to jump in with that pause. Yeah. Workforce planning, right, Lynn? Workforce planning, those talent strategies, the succession management, the performance management, the workforce planning. We help organizations build deeper talent benches. We've said that already today by implementing strategies for high potential identification and acceleration for leaders. And we guide you in defining and refining your processes for talent review and succession planning. And we go deep and we go wide. And we really do help you with really refining the nuts and bolts of that planning process, as well as the care and keeping of the implementation and the execution of that. And then helping you develop your annual report on talent and those indicators that help you drive success, and not just the hard metrics, not just the quantitative metrics, but also those qualitative metrics as well around behavior and how that demonstrates and aligns into your corporate philosophies as well. So Lynn, talk about how we help companies with organizational design.
Well, when you're talking about organizational design, it's a very, very basic it's the structure. It's the structure of your company. Are you hierarchical? Are you flat? What are you? What do you need to be? This again hangs on your culture and your business strategy. So this is part of your talent strategy, is that org design or organizational design. So that's a very important thing. It's part of culture. Your structure is a part of culture. It helps enable that culture. So yes, certainly we help with organizational design. Sometimes it's tweaking. Sometimes it's, oh no, we need a start over or a redo. What we like to do with that is start out with, what is the company trying to achieve? Again, small company, large company, whatever it may be a department in a company. What are they trying to achieve? What kind of structure or design do they need to achieve it? So we set that first. Then what kind of structure do they have? And then then we look at the gaps and we determine that structure and what is needed and what we need people to be doing to be successful. And then we look at the people and slot the people. What people do wrong in organization design is they start with the people and design their structure around it. And that's exactly reverse of what you need to do. You start with what you need, then see what you have, and then see where people slot, where they need to be further developed or not, or maybe they need to go into a different position in a different part of the company. So org design can't be overstated important. We keep talking about everything's important, but it's truly important.
Yeah.
And then we also, in doing the org design and the organizational effectiveness work and the organizational development work and thinking about culture and our talent strategies and optimizing folks, we want to make sure the most successful companies we know, and there's a lot of empirical evidence that shows the most successful organizations are those that have what we call a development culture. And Lori, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about a development culture.
Yeah, I'm going to dig into this is important. We're going to continue on this organizational effectiveness dialogue because culture, engagement, change management, team effectiveness all kind of bundles in. And it's really important to develop a coaching culture. And we help organizations do this by building that, by first of all assessing and really evaluating that culture, by providing managers with career development practices that support their own development and that of their employees and teams. So rather than simply providing feedback, which is the norm, that's what humans do. We provide feedback, but we need to go deeper. And it's not just feedback about the past. It is including something that we teach called Feed Forward that we learned and we're certified in with Marshall Goldsmith as well. And that coaching culture focuses on this Feed Forward process and communication tool. And again, by using some of the Forte intelligent communications assessments, we're able to definitely dig in the deep and wide that I talked about earlier to the details of how you communicate. What is your logic? What is your leadership style? What are some of the motivators and strengths that really attribute to the way that you're receiving and delivering and communicating? And then it all equals out into that performance management tool to create those desired behaviors. Because the way that we believe, the way that we think, the things that even the way that we analyze, that cognitive leadership ability that we really build in through the process. And we can dig into that with another one of these Lynn, we can talk about cognitive leadership and how important and the role that it plays, not only in decision making, but delegation, communication for effectiveness. So those all equal back into this coaching culture. But most importantly, if leaders are not in tune with themselves, and there is no self-mastery, there is no self-awareness, there is no, or low self-worth or low self-esteem, or they're just stuck because they've always been doing it this way and it's expected to be done that way, but they're getting no results. Those are opportunities for that shift and for flipping the switch. Those are the realizations, whereas individuals who are great leaders, they actually take the initiative. They come at it with courage. They come at it with, curiosity and discipline and humility. And they step in and engage and they share out. Those are the things that really, truly, I think, are enveloped into those coaching cultures. And because of the work that we do and the services we offer, we actually see our clients go from just more what I call a title leader. They have this great title in the company and they make really good money and they've been doing something really good for a while, but they're stagnant, they're siloed. and they come and work with us, and we really are able to see them just open back up and extend out into their other strengths that have been hidden or that have been held back or that are sitting stagnant. And then we see this where they begin to share that leadership out. Whoa, that's when we truly see the coaching culture affect that organization and it really impact those results. And so, Lynn, can we help other companies develop their executive teams?
Why, Lori, yes, we can.
Right?
So when we're talking about executive teams, of course, there's those intact teams already, the executive teams. We assess them. Some of the assessments are the same assessment we would use with any level of leader. Others are very focused on executive levels. And then there's the development and the coaching that happens after assessments, of course. We also, when we're looking at executive teams, it's like, who's the next executive? Who's the emerging executive? Who's the VP that's looking to get into the C-suite? Who's that key successor that's been identified? And how are you developing and how are you coaching them to rise up? And what we really help senior executives understand is what got you here won't get you there. So the very behaviors that get you from management, being a manager to being a director, did you know those are two different things? Most people think a director is just a manager with a few years experience. That's not the case. A manager is a very tactile person, maybe managing a budget, but certainly managing the day-to-day performance of a person, where a director has got a foot equally in visioning and setting strategy as they do and doing the task. And then guess what? An executive is a whole different role from being a director. It's not just a director that's got a lot of experience being a director. So helping an executive learn what it means to be an executive and that vision and alignment and execution that you're responsible for on a much broader basis, and that the very skills that maybe got you to the table will not be the skills that help you be very successful in that role. You know, the first time a person's put in a management role is often, hey, you're the best, whatever the technical role is. You've been doing this a while, so we're going to make you a manager. And you'd be happy about it. Now go be great. Go be great at being a manager. And we don't give them any tips on how to do that or any training, development, coaching, whatever it may be. Same thing happens with executives. So you've been a really good director in this role. Now we're going to make you executive. So be very successful. So yes, we help leaders understand what that means, what success in an executive role is, as well as, by the way, in a director role or in a manager role or whatever that role may be. So certainly we do help companies develop their executive teams. And it involves sometimes a lot of change. We've talked about change and transition a little bit. So let's talk about change and change management in companies, Lori.
So maximizing excellence through potential, talent optimization, all of that is involved. And change management is a collection. It's a collective term. It's not easy. We don't like to change as humans. And the great part about this is that we are designed, and maximizing excellence, maximizing potential is something that, you mentioned early that athletes do, that, as an athletic coach, we teach that, we train that. And we're beginning to do the same here and using the people data to help drive that, to help really realize the potential so that we can maximize that potential. And it's all embedded in this change management term, this change management process, this change management, the evolution to prepare, to support, to help individuals and teams and organizations really truly plan out, to one, identify the reasons for the change and to plan that out, to implement, to execute, to mitigate that, to measure that. I mean, that whole project management process for change is inclusive, it's real, it's hard, and it's good. It's absolutely good when done well. So it includes methods that redirect and redefine the use of resources, the business process, budget allegations, or other modes of operation that significantly change a company and an organization. And change management sometimes, and I can look back on my career, and anytime, Lynn, I want you to chime in on this one, because anytime that word came up and everybody went, woo, they froze. They were like, oh God, do we have to really dig into this strategy and really look at this? Because, we know we need to change. We know we need to shift. We know that the circumstances and the evidence and the trends are really looking at, if we don't, we die. But what's really interesting about change management, and I'm just reflecting on many, many, many projects. I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars in a project versus sometimes even just a low budget of 10,000 or 25,000, and creating change, implementing change, and sustaining what it was that you intended to do. When people and the culture of your organization is fearful, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dig into organizational effectiveness and really work on that so that you can have an effective change process. And so the services that we offer are so critical to this opportunity. And there's great models. Lynn, talk about some of the models that we use to help organizations with change management and why we do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are a number of models for change management. ProSci one that most of you may be familiar with. Cotter, 7 steps. There's various and assorted models for change management.
I'm not sure where Lynn went. She's going to be right back. We've been having some difficulty with LinkedIn, so I apologize for this, you guys. In the meantime, we offer these, and our change management framework is designed to help leaders successfully implement organizational change, minimizing the impact the change has on your business, employees, customers, and other important stakeholders. And so I'm going to wrap this up. I apologize. We lost Lynn. I don't know where she went. But do please reach out to us at harriswhitesellconsulting.com. Peruse our website. We have lots of really good information out there. We have a wonderful blog full of thousands of pieces of content. You can call us and reach us at 833-848-7845. And we would welcome to hold that conversation with you and offer up a free consultation to dig in and look at either your individual journey or your organizational journey, and to help with that. So we just want to say thank you again for being with us on Maximize Excellence. And again, have a blessed day, and we will talk soon. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Maximize Excellence. Visit our events page on our website for details on upcoming podcasts, and visit our YouTube channel to listen to past episodes. And remember to ask yourself at the end of each day, did I do my best to maximize excellence today?